Hey everyone, welcome to the Anxiety Project YouTube channel. As you can see, I'm outside enjoying a beautiful sunny day out in nature. My favorite place to be, getting grounded, getting spiritually connected with the earth. That's where I love to be. In this video, I'm talking about the 3 most debilitating symptoms of anxiety that I have faced when I was going through my anxiety disorder. Now, why is it important to understand and recognize these sensations? It's important because when I was going through my anxiety disorder, the biggest breakthrough that I experienced was understanding what I was going through, understanding the symptoms and how they're related to the amygdala. And the amygdala is the fight, flight, and freeze response producer. It produces this response. It sends all of these bodily sensations throughout your entire body, and they include dizziness, lightheadedness, tingling in the hands and feet, perspiration, headaches, lump in the throat sensation, all of these sensations. And it's important to recognize these sensations and go, oh, you know what? I am feeling anxious. My amygdala is activated. My fear response is activated. It's just a natural bodily response. It's just a natural response. We have this response to respond to danger appropriately. When a predator is right in front of you and you have to respond, you have to fight it, or you have to run away, or you freeze, you have to respond to it. And it's built right into us. So just knowing that it's natural, it's a natural response to feel these sensations. This was huge for me. This was huge. Getting yourself knowledgeable is one of the most important things to do when going through anxiety recovery. Understand what you're feeling, and then you can react differently when panic strikes, when you feel anxious. You can understand, you know what? I understand why I feel this way. It's just a natural response, and that's absolutely massive. So the 3 most debilitating symptoms of anxiety that I've personally experienced, number 1 is racing heart. Racing heart. When you are activated by your amygdala, when you are in the fear response, your heart rate increases. And when your heart rate increases, what happens? The blood rushes to your brain, to your limbs, so you can respond to the situation quickly, so you can run, so you can flee. And that's why. But when you're sitting in a classroom, when you're on the subway, when you're in a coffee shop, and then you feel all of these sensations, that can be quite daunting, right? It can be quite, oh, you know what? I'm actually scared. Why am I feeling this way? Am I unhealthy? Am I really healthy? I don't think so. Am I really suffering from a physical illness? Am I really dying from something? So we can really imagine the worst case scenario. So when we imagine the worst case scenario, it sets off our anxiety and even snowballs our anxiety. Traumatic events that have happened in the past that are still stored within the body can activate these sensations from the stored emotional memories within that amygdala. So you can all of a sudden feel all of these sensations. The amygdala is activated, but it's not a dangerous environment, but there is something in you, there's something that has been triggered, something you associate with in your environment that activates the amygdala. A repressed emotional memory comes up, or something triggers that memory in your environment. Say there's a green coffee cup on the counter, and 10 years ago there was a green coffee cup when you had a severe panic attack before, or when a traumatizing experience happened and there was a green coffee cup in the room. You associate that coffee cup with that traumatic environment, with that danger, with that emotional memory, and thus it triggers that memory again without your conscious awareness. So you're sitting there on the subway, something triggers a memory, and you respond, and you're like, oh my God, I think I'm dying. I feel these sensations. And that's what happened with my heart. I remember having a severe panic attack where I would recognize my increased heart, and then I would ask my girlfriend, can you check my heart rate? She checked my heart rate, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh my God, Brad, I think something's wrong, why is your heart beating so fast? Then I would catastrophize, oh my God, something's physically wrong. I've never felt this before. And each time a panic attack happens, it feels like it's something new, right? It feels like it's brand new. So I was like, oh my God, my heart. And then I connected that event, that emotionally traumatic event, with that beating heart. So whenever I would get that beating heart in the future, whether it was at the gym, whether it was on the subway, wherever, classroom, I would associate that with, oh my God, I'm unhealthy, might have a heart attack, I might have heart disease. So as you can see, this sensation, this feeling can be associated with other traumatic things. Heart attack, heart disease, or just being unhealthy in general. So it can be quite daunting, but as long as you know this is just a natural fear response, huge. Number 2 is body zaps. I would get these body zaps all the time. Focus in on these body zaps, and I was like, oh my God, I feel this pain right here, or this ache right here, or this ache in my neck, or this ache in my stomach. And then all of a sudden, I would attach this emotional memory to it. I'm like, oh my God, this is physical illness. I might have a disease. I might have a serious life-threatening illness. And so where focus goes, your energy flows to it, like Tony Robbins says. So I was focusing in on these sensations all the time, to the point where I just connected with that sensation, keeping it alive. If I was just to ignore it, if I was just to put it off to the side, then I would be like, whatever. It would go away, right? It would go away. It would leave. So it was just constant focus on these sensations, keeping them alive. It kept me wondering, what is it? What could it be? In fact, it was nothing. It was absolutely nothing. Number 3 is depersonalization. Depersonalization is the feeling of being outside your body, the feeling of being animatronic, like a robot. I was feeling this all the time, walking around during the day. I would even have poor balance. I couldn't even walk straight. I couldn't even formulate thoughts. I had a foggy mind. I couldn't get myself to control my thoughts. Everything was just so chaotic in my head. Everything was just going and going and going, and then I would have trouble just talking to people. I would be constantly in a state of fog and dizziness. And it was just absolutely brutal. I remember working a part-time job, having depersonalization, I couldn't even walk in the store properly. My head was focused on the ground. I was trying to just focus and formulate and get control over my thoughts. But it's in fact just the amygdala being activated. Your fear responses are being activated. So just knowing that, the more you give up control over that, the more you fully accept your situation, and the more sooner it goes away. The more I fully accepted depersonalization, the sooner it went away, the sooner it left. And that's how you get rid of that. Because when you keep forcing yourself to try and get control over depersonalization, you're not going to. Because the amygdala, when that's activated, it overrides all other brain processes. So you can't think your way out of panic. You can't think your way out of depersonalization. Your amygdala is activated. Your fear response is activated. It's a natural response to keep you safe. So how do you get rid of these sensations, this response? And the only way is to give up control and to work on NLP, to work on release exercises, and to get your life more in order. And to when you do have this response activated, when you do feel anxious and you overwhelmed, give up control. Just say to yourself, this will pass in time. I'm not going to give in. I'm not going to try to control it. I am just going to let it be the way it is, and it will subside. It will pass. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's video. Do not let your anxiety define who you are. I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye, everybody.